Hi, this is Jeffrey Kurt Financial Group. Today is Friday, October 31, 2025. It's Halloween, and we've had trick-or-treats all week long throughout the news flow and the financial markets. It's been a busy week. It's been a very busy month, and we've come to the end of it, and I'm sure, the events will continue in November and December, but let's review what took place this past week. First of all, the government shutdown continues and there's no end in sight. I'm not sure whether the financial markets are even caring about it or ignoring the whole issue, but that's out there. Secondly, President Trump gets a deal done with China and traveled around Asia. Not a lot of detail on what was agreed to. There is the rare earths will continue to be supplied to the U.S. for another year. That's somewhat important. Also, China agreed to buy 180,000 tons of U.S. soybeans. So that's, an olive branch perhaps, or a sign that there's an agreement. But also, I don't think there's much from what I could read, much of anything on Taiwan and mint chips and many other issues. So the next thing was the FOMC, the Federal Reserve, interest rate decision on Wednesday. There's good news and there's bad news. The good news is they did cut 25 basis points. That was widely expected. The bad news is Jerome Powell kind of threw some water on the hopes of a December cut. Not that it's going to go away, but before the Wednesday, it was highly expected that there was going to be another cut in December, and Powell said, wait a minute, not so fast. So maybe he's giving us a trick rather than a treat here in October. And then lastly is earnings. And we had on Wednesday, Facebook, margin problems. So that stock was down a lot yesterday, 70, 80 bucks. Again, it's a high price stock. Microsoft had a little bit of softness in their report. Google was okay. That caused some problems yesterday in the stock market. But then last night, Amazon came to the rescue along with Apple, had good numbers, positive outlooks, good things to say, everything's fine, and the stock market's rebounded. On that front, and to finish up, the S&P 500 has been above the 50-day moving average for 125 straight days. It's like the third longest stretch where we've been above the 50-day moving average for the S&P 500. And it's just a sign that how strong this market has been and, what's going on. And also, it does appear that, it's going to continue. We've had certainly enough issues to have the market sell off, and it's just ignored them or looked at other things going on. We've, again, the government shutdown, geopolitical problems, country that's just widely divided, federal deficits, if again the government gets back in operation. So again, a lot of things, but the market is strong. It will, at some point correct. And I mentioned that on Wednesday's video, but right now it's just, in a longer perspective, it's a strong market. Enjoy Halloween. I hope you get a lot of treats and enjoy the weekend. We'll be back on Monday. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.